Oh. Whew. Oh, hello, boys and girls. How are you? Scruffy, come here. Our friends are here to see us today. Hi. We are super excited. Today is the first day of March. And in March, we have the beginning of spring. We have St. Patrick's Day. And we also have a very special birthday, and it's coming up tomorrow. So today is March 1st. And Scruffy, do you know whose birthday is tomorrow? He does. It's one of his favorite authors. And his favorite author is Dr. Seuss. And Scruffy, can you sit right here just a minute? I'm going to put you down so that I can show them. Probably you know that cat, the cat in the hat, right? And a lot of times when we think of Dr. Seuss, we think of the cat in the hat. And Scruffy knows that Dr. Seuss loves to use rhyming words. So if he had changed the cat, he could have made a book about the rat in the hat, couldn't he? He could have made a book about the bat in the hat, or the cat sat in the hat. Oh, there's all kinds of letters. We see that the rhyming words have the same ending, at. And one of the things that Miss Susan loves about Dr. Seuss is he knows how important it is for us to learn to read. And so sometimes I think he uses lots of rhyming words so that we can get the sound of at, and we can change the beginning sounds, k, at, and h, at, and it helps us learn to read. Miss Susan has a book here that is really old. Oh my goodness, look at it. It has water spots on the back, and it doesn't look like somebody took very good care of it, does it? But you know what? This was Miss Susan's book when I was little. And the name of this book, it starts with a H, H-A-P, H-A-P, hop, and then on, and there's the P sound, P-A-P, pop, hop, on, pop. And this book has tons of rhyming words, and it's got so many, they even make lists of all the rhyming words in this book. And because of all the rhyming words, it makes it easy to read. Up, pup. Pup is up. So if you are just starting to read, find somebody maybe at your school, or if you have a library, and see if they have this book called Hop on Pop. It's one of Miss Susan's favorites, and it's one of the ones that taught me how to read. So here's just one of Dr. Seuss's rhyming books, Hop on Pop. And then we talked about the cat in the hat. And this is about that cat. He sometimes gets in trouble, doesn't he? He comes into these people's house when it's raining, and he makes up all these fun games, and he really does make a mess. He throws the fish out of his fish bowl, and the fish is always saying, oh, we shouldn't be doing this. This is not good. And then the mommy and daddy come home, and they have to clean everything up really, really quickly. So the cat in the hat can sometimes get into some trouble. Let's see what else we have. Oh, here's a book about green eggs and ham. Green eggs and ham. And the whole book is about this person that says, I do not like this. But he's never tried it before. So he doesn't really know if he likes it or not. And at the end, spoiler alert, Spoiler, he says, oh, you know, his friend says, just try them. Try them and you will see that you will like them. So he says, oh, I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam, I am. So this book talks about trying something new. And I have two books that kind of look the very same. Oh, Miss Susan bought this book in China. And China is far away from us. I showed you our globe one time before, but we live here in the United States and you have to fly across the ocean all the way. But even children in China know about Dr. Seuss. How do I know that? Because look, they changed the letters to Chinese characters so that they can read it. Look at the bottom. So their mommies and daddies in China will sit down tonight and read Green Eggs and Ham. I also have, here's one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Oh, this is a counting book. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. So it talks about numbers and colors. Look, same thing. Looks the same, but look. They have put the words in Chinese. That is really cool. So we have counting books. We have books about trying new things and using our imaginations. Oh, here's a Dr. Seuss ABC book. And so this book talks about letters that are the same at the beginning. Big A, little a. What begins with A? Aunt Allie's alligator. A. And then it goes all the way through. We know that B is next. Let's see what those letters are. Barber, baby, bubbles, and a bumblebee. So that one didn't rhyme, but it started with the same letter at the beginning. Oh, this one would be hard. You know, Miss Susan loves the letter S because it's Susan. Big S, little s. Silly Sammy Slick sipped 6 sodas and got sick. Ooh, those are tongue twisters. Those are tongue twisters. They mean that you have to use your letters carefully. Dr. Seuss's ABC. And then this book is Wacky Wednesday. Have you ever read Wacky Wednesday? This little boy keeps finding things wrong with his day on Wednesday. First he finds one thing and 2 things, and finally, I think there's like 20 things wrong. Only 20 things more will be wacky, he said, and then you will be done with Wacky Wednesday. So this one is kind of like a hide and seek book. You can go to your library and see if you can find all the things that are wrong with the pictures. You have to be a detective and look carefully. Oh, here's another rhyming book. Fox in Socks. Here's about somebody has overstayed his welcome. Marvin K. Mooney, will you please go now? I remember reading this one with my mom. It made me giggle because he couldn't get Marvin K. Mooney to leave. He asked him and asked him to go, but he would not. Oh, here's a book about how we should treat people. Horton Hears a Who. Do you remember that Who was very, very small and Horton was big? But Horton kept looking and looking and looking for the Who and his friend. And Horton was a hero because Horton saved the Who. He's looking through all these flowers and he knows that the Who is on one of those flowers, but oh, he just doesn't know which one. But he doesn't give up because he says, a person is a person no matter how small. So Horton is a wonderful friend. Thank goodness for people like Horton. You know, Scruffy, as we think about Dr. Seuss's birthday, sometimes I wonder if Dr. Seuss ever thought of all the creatures he would create. He made up the Who's of Whoville. He made up the Grinch. He did Sam I Am and the Cat in the Hat. He created all these things in his imagination. And maybe sometimes Dr. Seuss thought, I wonder if people will think this is weird, or maybe this is too silly. But you know, Dr. Seuss's silliness is part of the thing that makes him very special. He was unique, and he was himself, and he practiced his writing and practiced using his imagination. And you can do that too, because we all have an imagination. So I wondered if you would help me read a story for Dr. Seuss. And this one is just about a man named Mr. Brown. And all I need you to help me do is make some sounds. So if you can help me do that, we can read Mr. Brown Can Moo. Can you? It says Dr. Seuss's Book of Wonderful Noises. Oh, the wonderful sounds Mr. Brown can do. He can sound like a cow. He can go moo, moo. Oh, good job. He can sound like a bee. Mr. Brown can buzz. How about you? Can you go buzz, buzz? He can sound like a cork. Pop, 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 pop. He can sound like horse feet. Clop, clop, clop. He can sound like a rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. He can sound like an owl. Hoo, 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 hoo. Good job. Mr. Brown can do it. How about you? He can sound like the rain. Dibble, 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 dop. Dibble, 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 dop, dop, dop. He can sound like a clock. He can tick. He can tock. He can sound like a hand on a door. Knock, knock. Boom, boom, boom. Mr. Brown is a wonder. Boom, boom, boom. Mr. Brown makes thunder. He makes lightning, splat, splat, splat. And it's very, very hard to make a noise like that. Mr. Brown can whisper, whisper, very soft, very high, like the soft, soft whisper of a butterfly. Maybe you can too. I think you ought to try. Oh, the wonderful sounds Mr. Brown can do. Why don't you try to do them too? Turn the page and let's review. Moo, moo, buzz, buzz, pop, pop, clop, cock-a-doodle-doo. Hoo, hoo, dibble, dibble, dop. Tick-tock, knock, knock, boom, boom, splat. Last a whisper, whisper, and that is that. Another famous story that he wrote is The Lorax. And The Lorax is a book that tells us how we should treat the earth. And if you remember, do you remember the truffula trees? The truffula trees were beautiful. Listen to what he says about the truffulas. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swarmy swans rang out in space, one morning I came to a glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees. the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And then he finds the trees and he says, oh, those trees, those truffula trees. All my life I had been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop, and then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a theed. Miss Susan can knit, and years ago I made a scarf, and I call it my thneed. And I didn't really use truffulas, but I always wear it for Dr. Seuss's birthday to remind us of the Lorax. So what happened in our story with the truffulas? They cut them all down, didn't they? And so it went from looking all beautiful to very, very sad looking. And there were no trees left. Look, there was just stumps. And there didn't have any more places for the birds to live or the fish. It was very sad. Look at now, not very much color, is it? But if you remember, at the very, very end, he gives him one seed. And he says, but now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And he gives him a seed. There goes the seed. And he says, you need to plant the seed. And then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. So the friend here at the bottom has a job to do. They have to care and make things better. So Dr. Seuss writes rhyming books about sounds. He writes about the ABCs and how to treat people with Horton and how to treat our earth like the Lorax. So he taught us a lot of really good lessons. And so I made this very silly instrument today. It kind of reminded me of Dr. Seuss. It's a puzzle piece and it's a flute. Let's see. Wonder what it will sound like. Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. Oh, didn't that sound like a beautiful happy birthday? Or maybe we could use a kazoo. Oh, silly Miss Susan. You gotta have it out this way. A kazoo with a very big megaphone on it to make it louder. What happens if I take it off? So Scruffy and I like to do a fun brain game. And we like to use melodies that we already know. And a melody is a tune of notes up and down that you may already know. Like, say, for instance, if we sang A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is the same as Ba, Ba, Black Sheep, Have You Any Wool? If we use that melody and change the words, we could write a song for Dr. Seuss. We could use rhyming words, Scruffy, and write a song for Dr. Seuss's birthday. So let's try it. I'm going to think. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. We think you're a really silly goose. Thanks for showing us how to rhyme, reading us a book and having a really good time. We hope your birthday's lots of fun. Thank you for all the things you've done. Did those words rhyme, Scruffy? Just like Dr. Seuss. Oh, Thank you so much. You know, Scruffy and I always think about things that we can do with you, fun things. Last week, Miss Susan tried to go out and fly a kite, and it didn't quite work. I'll show you some of those on our YouTube channel, our epic fail at our flying a kite. But we try to do things that are fun. Maybe sometimes they're outside. But you know, Scruffy and I were thinking that for Dr. Seuss's birthday, Dr. Seuss helps us understand how important it is to read. And there is no better skill that you will ever have. You're right, aren't we, Scruffy? There is no better skill that you'll ever have than learning how to make your sounds and putting your sounds together to make words, and then using those words to make sentences and being able to read. So we thought that we would just get in our favorite comfy chair and talk about some of our favorite Dr. Seuss books. And he wrote about a lot of things. And Miss Susan doesn't even have but a few of his favorite books. So there's tons and tons of Dr. Seuss books. So we want to thank you today for letting us read to you. I love to read to children, and I remember when I was young, I remember having my mom read to me, and it's just really special time. So if you have a bigger brother or sister or somebody at your house that would take some time and read with you, it's really a fun activity. So we want to thank today our friends, as always, at the Early Childhood Foundation of Cabarrus County. We want to thank our friends from the Cabarrus Arts Council. And we would like to thank our friends from the North Carolina Arts Council for helping us come see you on YouTube. We really want to thank you today for being our reading partner. So let's sing Now We Just Had Music and Reading and Music. Now we just had music and we read a book about Dr. Seuss. Music, music, fun, fun. Music, music, we all had some fun. We all had some fun. Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. That didn't work. Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. Have a great day, boys and girls. Thanks for coming to see us. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.